Welcome back, everybody. We are back. Sundaze Brunch is back. Season 2. Chuck up the deuces. I am Bobby.
I am Ryan. Welcome to season 2, y'all.
And welcome to brunch, baby. Everybody got their drinks. Let's go.
What you got? I got some ranch water.
I got some Truly's citrus punch that tastes like... I'm not going to go there. Maybe Truly's will sponsor us.
I mean...
I was going for the Truly sponsors, but now it tastes like dog shit, right?
Sponsor.
The Topo Chico. They have what?
Topo Chico ranch water, bro. It's a vibe.
Sounds American.
I'm going to hang up on you right now.
But anyway, so it's been a while. We took a hiatus, reformatted the entire podcast. A lot of shit's changed. Rye's no longer in central USA, chilling in the cornfields with the buckwheats. He's over there on the East Coast in Nashville now. How's Nashville, Ben?
Nashville is unique. It's a poppin' economy. There's a lot of musicians here of all genres, and the move's been great so far. A lot of opportunity, a lot of different vibes, and became an A&R for a branch of Sony. So we're just working with the music industry right now.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. LA's been crazy. Now that it's opening back up, you can definitely feel the city buzz is back. It's not in full swing yet because there's still some people that are pretty wary about everything, which is to be understood. But yeah, no, it's starting to feel like LA again, man.
So the creatives are out in full force. You see the
creatives are out in full force. Oh my God. It's crazy out here, especially with TikTok and Instagram's new outreach, really promoting like the organic stuff.
Yeah, I want to start with that, talking to you, because obviously we in completely different parts of the country. And you said something the other day about like your Instagram Reels getting some traction. To the artists that are listening, like TikTok and Reels both have a crazy organic reach feature right now.
Insane right now.
To maximize that.
So what I've been doing to maximize that is honestly super simple. Get on the trending of the day, go through all the trending audios. Gary Vee just said this, I think it was like last week or something. Go through all the trending audios, listen to them. Maybe some aren't doing it for you, but if you find one that you like, put that over a video, do a skit to it, do a couple of those a day, stock up a little bit. And lately, you don't have to use any hashtags. You don't have to use any crazy captions, just trending audios and trending topics. Huge organic outreach right now. Huge.
So I noticed that the snippet that you put up, your new track, got 12,000 Reels views.
Yeah. Yep.
The most, that's the most I've ever got, and I consistently post. Did you use hashtags? What's the method?
No, that's the thing is I didn't use hashtags. I just planned on the timing of the post.
Did you post to your actual timeline, or did you post specifically to Reels? Did it feature on your Instagram profile?
Yeah, so I posted specifically to Reels. So, you have to go into the Reels to get it. That you can't just go onto the regular profile. So strictly in the Reels. And then I just posted it on my story for a few days in a row. And I went from there. And also I noticed that I think Jake and I were talking about this a while back with the TikTok watermark. If you use the video with the TikTok watermark, it kind of gets shadow banned in a way. It doesn't get as much exposure as one would hope.
Yeah, they shut it down right off the bat.
Yeah. It's kind of like using links in Facebook. You taught me that.
Yeah. They will shut it down right off the bat if you're using the watermarks on there. But it is interesting to know that you're not using hashtags. I know because Reels is hit or miss for me. I'll use hashtags sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll use them, they'll go crazy. Sometimes I won't use them, they'll go crazy, and vice versa.
Yep.
Sometimes they'll just do nothing. But I will say that I've been using TikTok quite a bit more frequently, and I have started seeing a conversion into my Apple Music analytics.
Yeah, no, and I've actually been watching
fuck TikTok for a while, but now I'm it's the wave.
Yeah, no, because I've actually been watching you on TikTok because you've been posting quite frequently. And over the past couple of weeks, I've watched your numbers slowly rise. So definitely consistency within that app for marketing is major. Yeah,
I've noticed when I was posting before, I would try to do 1 a day, 2 a week, tops, and it wasn't really doing much. And in the past week or so, I've like tried to do like 3 to 5 a day. Just even if I'm recycling content that I've already posted.
Yeah.
And the conversion over to Spotify and Apple, my Spotify, like in the past 2 weeks, my Spotify followers are up about 55. And my Apple Music streams are up 55%.
Okay. Yeah, no, even with like as little marketing as I've done over the past like couple months, my Spotify has been slowly and gradually on a steady incline instead of plateauing or decreasing. So I've been happy with that. And also I really feel like if you're gonna go into like, you know, the kind of content creation that you kind of do, that you're constantly putting out, you know, several videos a day. I feel like a good approach to that would be maybe choose one of the trending audios that are trending that day, sprinkled in with your own stuff, because who knows, that one trending audio that you do on any given day might pop, and people are more inclined to go to your profile, look at a couple more videos. Even if they look at one video of your own like stuff outside of the trending stuff, who knows, they might like it, they might not.
Exactly. No, you're not wrong there. Speaking of content, did you check out Jack Harlow's album?
Did I check out Jack Harlow's album? Bro, that album is gas.
Before we elaborate on that, since we're talking about content, we can use this as a piece of content. Should we tell the story of the time that Jack Harlow opened up for us?
Bro, hold on. No, take that back and reword it. Jack Harlow didn't open up for us. We all opened for Jack Harlow.
Yeah, yo, you're right. So
give the man credit where credit is due. The man was 14. Yeah. 14 years old at the time.
Let me paint the picture. So we were
Kid's a legend.
With Cam Meekins, and we were the direct support for the tour. So when you're direct support for tours, to anybody out there that's listening, what that means is there's the headliner of the tour, and there's the person that directly tours with them that opens right before them. That was us. But when you're at that level, there's still local openers for every show, and there's usually anywhere between 2 and 5 local openers. We were in Louisville. One of those local openers was this 14-year-old kid. His name was Jack Harlow.
Had no idea who this kid was at the time. No idea.
Clue. But the promoter of the show, Kato, was like, we may have to move our headliner back because this kid is in high school. He sold tickets to his whole high school, and he sold the whole place out at 14 fucking years old.
Yep.
Sold the whole place out. So a show that he was supposed to be opening for, he ended up doing like a small set, and they realized everybody was fucking there for him. So then he did his other songs after the headliner because everybody had stayed to see him.
And he absolutely crushed it. Fucking rocked the stage.
It was, looking back on it now, like looking back at it then, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Because like it was a small venue, so I was like, what is happening? But now like, when I look back at it now, I'm like, that trajectory is not normal.
No. It was insane because like me personally, when it was going on, I was like, what kind of like anomaly fluke is this? Like here's this hometown kid that just absolutely crushes ticket sales. Yeah. Does like 1 or 2 songs, first artist out. Yeah. Literally like does 1 or 2 songs, and then they pull him off stage, let the entire rest of the bill run, and then bring him back out, and the entire venue's overpacked. They're way above capacity.
14, 15-year-old kids knew every single word.
Every single word.
Screaming it at the top of their lungs. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before.
But long story short, the message in that story, why Rye definitely brought it up, why we talked about it, is how important local reach truly is.
How important local reach and how important just consistency is, because it wasn't till obviously he had that crazy hometown run, but like the amount of content that he released after that.
Oh yeah.
Before he was picked up. And then the amount of content that he continuously, even after like he had eyes on him, that he just continuously pumped out and pumped out.
Yep.
And pumped out.
Because like I remember that happened.
What's Poppin' happened. There was like Sundowner. There was all these other
Yeah, because when were we in Louisville? What year was that?
So Louisville was the Cam Meekins tour in 2015.
2015, yeah.
It was
I didn't hear his name again until about 2018, 2019. I think the like time I heard his name again was when he dropped Dark Knight.
Yeah.
When he dropped Dark Knight is when he like resurfaced in my radar. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is that kid from Louisville.
Yeah.
And then literally I started following him from there. And ever since then, he's just leveled up. Like I'm so proud and so happy for the dude. Like it's insane because like.
I just want to throw a crazy statistic out there. If you search into Spotify, right? You look up any artist, if you scroll to the bottom of their page, they will tell you what rank they are of streamed in the world.
Yeah.
Right? You go to Jack Harlow's profile. I don't know if they can see this.
No, we can't see that, right?
Jack Harlow is the 16th most streamed artist in the world.
It's insane.
Unreal.
It's unreal. And it's crazy because like I remember his like huge like step, which I thought was overdue, was when he dropped What's Poppin'. Like
this is breakout.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was like a known name, but he wasn't nearly or anywhere as big as he is now. When realistically, like he could have easily been. But What's Poppin' came out, that was just the breakout, and he's just been running with it ever since.
Yeah, but also you got to understand this also breaks down to kind of like, did you see what Pitchfork rated his shit? It was like 2 point something.
Yeah, that's what you were just saying just before we hopped on there. That's insane. Like, I really want to just like sit down and talk with the critics just to like understand, like, why would you give this body of work a rating like that?
But that's one of the worst ratings that a project has ever received. But you also got to take into account, we're not in an age where flow is accounted for. We're not in an age where lyrics are accounted for. And we're not in an age where delivery is accounted for. We're not in an age where storytelling is accounted for. If you're not glorifying lean, if you're not glorifying pills, if you're not glorifying fucking auto-tune or some other shit.
Or even just have bass enough to blow eardrums.
Yeah. The critics will just
trash it.
It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because considering literally rap stands for rhythm and poetry, but they don't want anything that's poetic. They want it to be mumble. They want it to be jumbo. They want it to numb the minds of the people who are fucking listening to it. And Russ says that shit all the fucking time.
All the time.
He's like, y'all may be doing streams, but are these people coming out to your fucking shows? And they're not. Because
and
there's not relatability. And that's why the people like that are getting those shit. Corday had a shitty review, but Future got a damn near perfect score.
Yeah. And all he talks about is pretty much treating women badly, drugs, how much money he makes.
If DaBaby was to drop an album tomorrow, I guarantee you they would rate it like an 8 out of 10.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But he would be belittling people. He would be shit talking. He would be glorifying drugs. He would be glorifying lean.
Yeah. Like Harlow says in one of the songs, I think it's like, don't quote me. I'd have to look up the lyrics. It might be State Fair. He literally says like, you guys just make fun of shit. I'm an artist.
Facts.
Like literally just like calls out the entire fucking industry on that.
Well, it's not just, it's the industry, but also like, how weird is it to have a whole panel of critics of hip hop who have never made a hip hop song?
No, yeah, it's fucking weird. It's weird as shit.
It's fucking corny.
Dude, it's the same thing as like all these referees that are getting called out now because like what are these calls that they're making? Guaranteed they were never anywhere near a reputable athlete, but they're out here reffing a game. At a professional level.
They wouldn't be reffing the game if they were an athlete. Side note, random fucking note. Did you see that paycheck Tom Brady's about to get to be a reporter?
3, 5, 7, 10-year deal.
That's unreal. But also going back to what we were just talking about, I would love to see them reevaluate the rating of Jack's album.
Yeah.
After Kendrick's drops.
Oh, 100%. Kendrick's drops at midnight tonight, which is everybody's fucking been waiting for. Oh, it's been how many years since he dropped?
Last thing he put out was Damn. I think that was 2017.
Yeah. Years.
By the album art, he's a whole new man. If they look at the album art, it looks like he's got 2 kids now.
Yeah. And it's understandable because of, you know, like the pandemic and the 2 years that the world like shut down. But like this is like the biggest drop of the year by far.
Oh yeah. Well, by far. There's like he went into hibernation because of the pandemic. Apparently, if he had 2 kids, like the album is implying, that would make a whole lot of sense.
Fatherhood,
family mode.
Yep.
But then there's also like the effect of this is his last TDE project. So when you look at like the throughout history, and Pac was one of those people he looked up to. Like he said, Pac came to him in a dream and shit. When Pac was getting ready to leave Death Row, he said he closed out his Death Row contract with All Eyes on Me, which was a double album. There's a lot of stories circulating that this is a double album. So there's a lot of things that line up with that. So if it's a double album, you're looking at 20 plus tracks, and Kendrick don't go into fucking tracks lightly. He's got a whole thing with them. He's got a whole cultural movement behind whatever the fuck he's doing. I hope.
Oh yeah. This album's gonna get played for the rest of the year and then some. On repeat.
Kendrick doesn't have an album that's, if you go back to even before, like when he was K-Dot, like can't think of the project name off the bat, but it was before Mad City. But there's records from that are still in the top 200.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's because I feel like
it was before Mad City. There's records from that first like tape. It was K-Dot, and he literally had to legally switch the name from K-Dot to Kendrick, and they're still in the top 200.
Yeah, like I don't know. I put Kendrick right up there with like Cole, Drake, Jay, all those guys when it comes to delivery, the lyrics, the floating on anything. Anything he touches, it's like touching gold.
Kendrick is a different monster. And I didn't think there was anyone ever that would take Pac off his throne. But he might.
I wouldn't say that he's going to take him off, but he'd definitely share it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him surpassing Tupac.
They can share seats. He doesn't exist without it, but they can share a seat.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's in the, as far as hip hop goes, Bobby Matz has been in the laboratory.
Yeah, I've been in the creative mode. I have
records. What do we got in store?
I have an insane amount of content right now that I'm sitting on. I got a handful of songs that are already done, getting ready to get published. Just waiting on a few things for that. I have a ton of written material that I got to get into the lab and actually get down on tracks. And I just released one of my brand new singles this is my first drop of the year, I'm pretty sure.
It's been a minute since you dropped something.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I dropped. I went into creative mode for a while. But yeah, If You Could, dropped back last month. First single of the year. Great song. Love it. I sat on the song for, I think it was like a year and a half before it just made sense to drop. It was weird because when I wrote the song, like I was in such a different place in life that it just didn't make sense. Like, oh, why am I writing this?
Sure.
When in all reality, like looking back on it now that it's out and like listening to it for I don't know how many times I have, it was more of a manifestation body than anything. So that's dope. But I also did a couple features with you.
We got a few.
A couple are out already.
So talk about that creative process a little bit before before we go into those features, because that's going to lead into a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah.
When you take a hiatus where you were fucking, by all accounts, non-existent.
Yeah.
The fuck happened? Like what is that creative process?
So I don't know. I feel like we've touched on this before, and like my whole life, I've always like looked at creativity and creation and creating stuff is almost like a chore, like the lab schedule. Like I got to be in the lab from this time until I'm probably going to be in the lab till this time, and I should get X amount of stuff done. When in all reality is like, you can't force creativity. You know, you can, but you're not going to, I shouldn't have said that. You can, but you might not get the best of what you could have gotten if you would have just been patient.
Got to live and flow a little bit.
Exactly. And also I started to really tune into how external sources would affect my creativity, because all we are is just a fucking mass of atoms and energy put together, and we're just telling our story through our lives and how we perceive it, you know, and that's what art is. You get to see the artist's perception and perspective on their own reality. So once I started really taking that into account and, you know, like looking at certain things in my life that were either hindering me or trying to uplift me, and, you know, moving some pieces around and taking some pieces out, I understood that for me and myself, for creation, is I needed to get back to actually living and not just existing.
You gotta have stories to tell.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't read a book by accident. You have to live an intentional life.
Right.
You know, without life, without intent, what are you doing?
Sure.
So I don't know. Once I really put that into a real like focused frame and really started focusing on it, I felt myself, I want to say like feeling like my old creative ways, like back when we were in the basement in the attic, but I felt that same feeling, that like giddiness and like, holy shit, like I'm making stuff that I enjoy making and not stuff that like, oh, I need to make this song to appease this audience.
Yeah.
Because in all reality, you know, like if you have to fake who you are to get the reaction and attention of an audience that you want, you're going to have to become that. And you can only fake something for so long.
That part.
So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I went through a growth phase, fucking cocooned up, broke out, spread some new wings, bro.
Butterfly.
Yeah, I'm a pretty little butterfly.
I love that.
But yeah, no, that's definitely, you know, like what happened on my hiatus. Like, I know you didn't go through a hiatus. You never do. You're like a fucking machine. You never stop working. But I remember you were saying that like your plate was pretty full with like the move. You were doing those mini runs. You were having shows and shows and shows. And then you guys, you know, drove yourselves across the country. And the whole time you never stopped posting content. You never stopped creating and whatnot. And that's always been one fascinating thing that I've found about you, is like, no matter the adversity you face, it's somehow you're like, okay, yeah, I got this shit going on, but I'm still going to get all my shit done. And it's like, sometimes I just looking at it, I'm like, bro, we share the same 24 hours in a day. How is this motherfucker doing all this shit when I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can barely find time to fucking walk my dog.
It's necessity. One, like I can't, if I don't create, I feel like shit about myself.
Okay.
So like part of it's like literally a work addiction. So it's not fully healthy. And the other part of it's like, well, I literally get bored with every other fucking job. So if I'm going to have this as the job, I might as well just keep one-upping myself.
I feel that.
And I think like when it comes to like creating, because I have so many different influences, I have to create multiple different types of shit. Like one day I'll make a punk record, the next day I'll make a rap record. This next project I'm putting out is full like straight hip hop. And like similar to you, like I had to get back, like you said, you had to get back to like that feeling of like the attic and the basement. I had to get back to making those lines that are going to make people laugh. Those lines that have that shock factor, that wow factor, that like make you like listen back and like, what the fuck? What's wrong with him?
No, yeah, 100%. Like, I remember you were talking to me, it was like a couple weeks ago, that you're like, bro, I'm back in the rap like mode. Like, I'm just crushing these shit that you've been saying, like, I'm back in that mode.
Yeah, it was like I had to get back to that, like, especially like when I'm making a passion project, like the one that I'm finishing up. Like, the things that I like loved about like Pac was like the realness of it, but then the things that I liked about like Wayne and M was like you had to rewind it back to really gather what the fuck they were saying, because it was kind of fucked up but also hilarious.
Yeah, like
there was a sense of comedy and sarcasm in it, but also a level of like insulting the people that you're talking about.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like literally, like the thing that like people told me when I first started making fucking music was like, wait, you're a rapper? And literally the name of my project is Wait, You Rap? So I just had to get back to that fucking sarcasm level that I had, to where I can just like talk my shit and like bring it full circle to where I'm like having fun with it again, even though I'm taking it more serious than I ever have.
No, I definitely, because over the last couple of years, you have been treating it more like an occupation than anything, especially with this new A&R. The works that you've been doing behind the scenes that nobody sees besides the team. You know, like, you've been doing a lot.
Your boy be busy.
Yeah, definitely been busy. But yeah, no, like, definitely you're a fucking robot when it comes to work. You're constantly working, and I know it's a necessity to you, but you're a different kind of breed. Not every artist is like you.
No.
You know, so for people out there listening, you know, it doesn't take you working like Rye does to accomplish what you want to accomplish. If you want to accomplish what Rye is trying to accomplish, yeah, you have to fucking work like Rye. But if you're just trying to accomplish making cool shit, just do it within your own means.
Yeah, I think it depends. I think, like, for instance, like I've told people in the past, like, I'm not the most talented motherfucker in the world. But it all comes down to, you just got
a crazy, awesome work ethic.
Yeah, it comes down to like that Mamba mentality shit, where like I may not be the most talented in the world, but I will outwork everyone in the fucking room. I'll outwork everyone on the floor.
Yeah, you've always been that way. Yeah, you've always been that way.
So it's like, I do not think that every artist needs to have this God-given talent. Like, I think when I started, I had the lyrics down. That was all I had down, was the poetry, the lyrics. I had no flow. I had no rhythm. I had no idea about production. I had no idea about mixing. I had no idea how to make a fucking song. All I knew I could do was rhyme. And I think like there's a work ethic that goes into like making rhymes into a song. A lot of people can rap. Not a lot of people can make songs. A lot of people have said that. But I think there's like a art to be able to do all of it. And I think there's a lot of people who are very fucking talented who can only make a song every so often. But I think if that's the way your work ethic works when it comes to creating, you have to have a double to triple work ethic to marketing that if you want to be on. I think, like, for instance, you work in a slower work ethic when it comes to creating, because your creativity comes in different spheres. But I think you could be equally as successful if you doubled and tripled down on the content that you make surrounding your releases.
Yeah.
Like, say
100%. Oh yeah.
So say, for instance, like you made one song to my 7 songs, but you put out 15 different pieces of content on TikTok and Reels and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all the places that you can put fucking content. You may be able to circulate a similar buzz surrounding that one song. You just need to make more content that creates around that. I think what we're in is a content battle. And I think, like, if you're like in the A&R world, you're starting to a label world, you're trying to write for people world, I think in those cases, you gotta be someplace like a LA, a Nashville, a New York, places like that. But I think like if you're just trying to like put on for yourself and be independent, I really do think like you can do that from anywhere in the world.
Oh, 100% I agree with you. Like, it's all about opportunity cost, really. And when you look at it with a very, very wide and general scope, because if, you know, hometown back in Waverly, if you're back there, yeah, you can get some pop and some buzz, but you're kind of at a disadvantage because you are nowhere near where main hub is.
I used to think that way, but that mindset's kind of changing for me now.
Well, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but like if you're trying to do things to the scale to where like you need to be able to have that connection of a web, like your connection web needs to be large. You can't do that from a home base that you're constantly at when it's far, far away, unless you have some sort of team or some sort of promotional agent in a major hub.
We might have our first Sundaze Brunch disagreement.
All right, let's hear it.
I don't think that that's the case anymore. I used to.
Okay.
But I do think that if you are willing to do the research of, okay, literally everything is at your fingertips. How do I make a song? Okay, look up some songwriting techniques. How do I record a song? Look up some songwriting technique or some recording techniques. Okay, this is where I need to record it. This is the equipment that I need to record it. Okay, let me work whatever job I had beforehand and put whatever spare money I have to record this record. Okay, so then you can take that. Like you and I made great records that have done hundreds of thousands of streams off of a $100 mic.
Yeah.
So you can take those records and you can do one of two things. You can then literally look up online audio engineers, pay someone to mix it for you, or you can look up how do I mix a song on YouTube and you can learn how to mix it yourself. So if you don't want to mix it yourself, pay someone to do it. If you want to mix it yourself, you can learn how to do it well off of the internet.
Yeah.
And then you can have TikTok, you can have ads, you can learn how to run ads, you can learn how to post on TikTok, you can learn how to upload your shit to the internet. You can literally do everything that you're trying to do from wherever the fuck you have if you have the internet.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you that it's more accessible. I will 100% agree with you that it's more accessible from remote areas. But what I'm saying is you're at a disadvantage if you're in a remote area, to the extent of look at every major creator that does live in a remote area. Which there are. There are major creators that live in like towns of 200 people and they have millions of followers. But the thing is whenever they go and do these bigger things that are helping them like push their career, they're making these friends and whatnot, more often than not, they're traveling outside of their hometown to go to one of these larger hubs to make moves to extend their connections and whatnot.
For connections, yes. I don't know. There's a new podcast out that's like talking about like artists making moves and like being independent and things like that. Have you ever? He's on TikTok. He's a big guy on TikTok. Have you ever heard of Nick D?
More than likely, yeah.
So I was listening to the podcast that he has with this dude named Connor Maynard or something like that on the internet. Connor something on the internet. And